Hi guys, we're just about to start a three-way call with Brianne, and I'm very excited because I just made a big oops. We had another three-way call we had just done, and it was amazing. So I'm hoping to get those questions answered for you guys because I think that three-way call is not only a good tool for us to make things very simple for everyone, but to get the information out is so fantastic because the questions that were asked would have been questions that some of you would have wanted to hear. So I will figure out a way to get those answers to you as well. And here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I am recording right now, and I don't know what happened. I feel so bad because that was such a great three-way call.
That's okay. We can do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's all right.
Definitely. He had such great questions, and I think so many people could relate to what he asked.
Oh, I know. I know. And I'm just so glad these questions are coming out, right? And you can answer them so well. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. So we are good to go right now to get on the next one.
Yeah. Okay, here I go.
All right.
So it is 519 477 039.
AllinOneBusiness.net is a great resource, and I actually have this link attached to our group website as well. But right here, three-way calls is exactly where you want to go before you do one. AllinOneBusiness.net. And it was under helpful documents.
Hey, hi, Tara.
Hi there.
Hi. Okay, Melanie's on the line.
Excellent. Hello. Hi, Melanie. How are you?
So, Melanie, I'm just going to introduce Tara. As you know, Tara's been a very good friend of mine, even before Isogenics. I've known her for over 20 years, and she was the one that introduced me to Isogenics, and I'm forever grateful for that. She did win at the heart of Isogenics, so she's probably the best person anyone can talk to. She's extremely honest, and she will get your questions answered as best she can. She is a mother of 3 beautiful children under the age of 6 years old. She was a struggling teacher without full-time work for over 9 years. Her awesome husband, Cam, works as a police officer and for the K-9 unit, and he works shift work. And he's currently taking care of the kids right now, right, Sarah?
Yes.
And she has been able to create a 6-figure income in the past 2 years out of the 4 years that she's been with this, it was the past 2 years out of the first 4 years, right, Tara?
Yes.
Building the business in the pockets of her time. Okay, so just a little bit about Melanie, Tara. Melanie is a very outgoing, beautiful young mom of 2 adorable twins. She and her fiance, Corey, were engaged recently in October, so she's getting ready for her wedding. She has now decided to look at Isogenics as a full-time business, and so she's building her team quickly. Her concerns include, or her questions are with twins. How do you manage to fit in the hours in a day with the kids that keep you busy? And then her other concern is her fiance has a little bit of reluctant spouse syndrome. He's a little bit hesitant about the business, which is normal. He says that he believes in her and thinks she's capable of making about $1,200 a month, but then he thinks it will top out, or she won't make more than that.
Okay. Wow, I love this. I'm so excited for you, Melanie.
Thank you.
And Brienne, thank you so much for connecting us tonight, because I really appreciate, being able to, number one, be able to help Melanie with some of these questions, because I know exactly how she feels.
Yeah.
And also being able to use this as a training exercise for our team, because thank you for allowing me to record it, ladies.
Awesome, no problem.
So can I just start off, Melanie, by just asking you what gets you so excited about Isagenix? Because I know you've just been doing this for a little while now. So can you tell me a little bit about your journey so far?
Well, Brie invited me to her launch party at her house, and I was actually just starting up a bit of a cleaning side job that I was doing, and she said, "Oh, just come. You'll have a few clients that you can find." And I was like, "Okay, I can come to this. I don't need. I can just tune it all out."
Yes.
And so I came, and it was a business introduction one, and I'm sitting there, and I'm really having a hard time tuning this out because I just kind of got sucked right in. Everything she was saying was just like, "Wow, I need this. I want this. I want to do this. I could be like this. I could be this high energy person that Brie totally is all the time, and this is me, but I'm just stuck. I'm not in this." So I saw it and I really wanted it, and like Brie said, I have twin boys and I really wanted to spend more time with them. So I'm hoping, and I know that it's going to let me do that. So I'm just excited about being able to spend time with my boys. So.
Well, I am so excited for you, and when I say that, I really mean that. I don't know if you really realize what you have in your hands right now, but when I first started this business, do you mind if I just really briefly share my story? I know that Brienne kind of touched on some of it.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of it is going to be what has related to your questions as well. Now, can I ask first, before I do that, how old are your boys?
They are 11 months old.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so you're right in the middle of that beginning, beautiful time in their life, eh? That's awesome. Well, congratulations, first of all. Do you have other children?
Nope, just those two.
All right, so 11-month-old twins. Wow, you're a busy mom. That's amazing. So just a really brief intro about my start. And not at all that I had twins, but when I got started in this business in 2009, I had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. So not quite the same as what you were going through, but I had this busy toddler and this infant that needed my attention at all times, right? So I can relate to how you're feeling about how do you find the time to do this business, right, in between all that. And at the time when I did get started, it was more for the reasons of I was just really tired all the time. And I didn't feel like I was a functioning mom for my kids. So I was open to the products, but completely closed to the business at first. And when I decided to try the products and have them in my body every day, because it took me a few months to even do that much, but once I did, I couldn't believe within 4 days how my energy levels changed and how just I felt so much better about myself and everything else going on. So I was able to function better and sleep better and all those things. So I woke up actually feeling rested instead of like a zombie state. So when I started feeling that way, I realized that, wow, somebody, that cared enough about me to share the products did tell me there was a business opportunity. And I was much like you. At the time, I was just kind of in the middle of starting some businesses because I was struggling as a teacher. I was getting no money on maternity leave because I didn't have enough hours in my bank. Having 2 pregnancies back to back, I just didn't have enough time to get more hours in. So I was pretty desperate for cash, and I was trying to do anything I could. So I was actually doing 2 other side businesses at the time in network marketing companies, trying to juggle both, but the only way I was making money with those companies were to actually leave physically my house and do parties. And if I didn't sell anything, I didn't get any money. So it was a really tough go, which made me really close to network marketing at the beginning. Because I thought, well, I've been there, tried that, it didn't work for me, so I don't think I'm really ready to try again. But when I realized that these products were different than any other product I represented, that they were giving me a physical transformation, I knew that I could align myself with that in a very natural way without feeling like I was selling anything. So, but, the big but, here it comes, my husband was completely, and I say this, I love him, and I love that he's my biggest supporter now, but he was completely against me in this business. Just like your husband, he believed in me, and he knew that I would probably do whatever it was that it took to be successful, because he saw how much I struggled for 9 years as a teacher, but he knew how I was so determined. And, you know, he didn't give me the thumbs up 100%, but he did support me in the fact that if I needed to get to an event, he said, all right, you know, he would do what he could if it was his day off. But there wasn't a time that he would even think to take a day off for me to go. So I had to really pick and choose when I could use, you know, his days off to, number one, enjoy family time with him, but number two, start investing in my business as well, even without his 100% support. For 18 months, that's how it was. And there was a day, and I say this, he doesn't even remember this, but it was a very pivotal moment, I think, for us in my journey with business and making kind of a difference in the way he was viewing things. I came home one day after an event, very excited, and he was very down low. And I said to him, you know, one of the things I learned today was I'm the sum of the 5 people I spend the most time with, and you're one of them. And I didn't say anything to say threatening, nothing. Like, there was no threat behind that. But he looked at me and he said, well, what does that mean? And I said, I don't know, whatever you think it means. And I basically just, you know, enjoyed the rest of my feeling of gratitude for the day and went to see my kids. And I don't know if that was a turning point for him or it just happened to be the time when I started really building confidence and believing in myself more than I ever did because of the events and because of the people I was surrounded with, that things really changed for him too. So I think that I never begged him to jump on board with me, to support me in the business, other than what he had already been doing with the kids when I needed him. But what I think was starting to happen was he was seeing I was being an example of positivity, good energy, you know, bringing in some cash, even though it wasn't a lot in those first 18 months, but I was really trying hard and making a difference in people's lives, which is what he started seeing. And the money started to come with that, which for him, as sad as it is, it's not sad, but some people think, you know, show me and then I'll believe, where I always was of the mindset, and that's why I call our team this, but see it when you believe it. Once you believe something, I believe that you're going to see it. So he was the opposite mindset to me, and that's okay. But I didn't force him. I didn't, you know, pressure him, but I just felt that when the time was right, if I continued to just be an example, that he would start to see what the differences were that we were making as a team. And now he's one of my biggest supporters. So I really hope in that case your husband, you know, it's very common. You're not alone. I think that we're actually probably more the majority than the minority. There's a lot of couples that jump into this with both feet right from day one, and that's awesome. I was never envious or jealous of that, even though I was surrounded by a lot of couples building this business really successfully. I just knew that I had full belief, and I knew it was going to take some time and effort, but I wasn't going anywhere. I was never going to give up, because this was a company I was so passionate about because of my results and seeing other results, that it didn't matter what opinions were, even if it was the guy that I married, right? I was going to keep moving forward. So I hope that helps with that question. Does that help?
He's very supportive of me, like you said. Like he will take the boys. He does great things when he's in the house, and I'm like, okay, I need to do some work. So he's great that way. So it's gonna come. I think it's gonna come.
Awesome. And you know, another thing that helped me as well, and I think that's when my husband started to see this. I don't know how your husband is for dreaming, but a lot of people forget to dream because we live, you know, sometimes we're beyond our means, but we want to shrink our dreams to live within our means. Do you know what I mean? And my husband, I actually said to him one day, I'm making a vision board. If money and time were of no consequence right now, what would you want to do, or what would you like to have? And he started, you know, it for him was kind of a funny exercise. He wasn't all that comfortable with it. But he said, oh, I'd love a fishing boat, and, you know, I'd love to go on more vacations, especially winters like this. And he would say a few things. So what would I do? He didn't really sit down with me to do the vision board, but when I got those things down on paper in pictures, and I showed him that his dreams were just as important as my dreams and our children's and our collective family dreams, that he started saying, all right, that sounds cool. Yeah, that would be nice, you know. When you involve them, you know, all your loved ones, whoever you want to support you in this, you want to know what would be something that you'd like to dream to make reality someday. Even for my parents, I want to include them in that dream because they help support me so much with my children that I want to be able to give them some of their dreams and turn them into reality too. So that might be another exercise you want to do with him.
Yeah, that would be great. I would try that, yes.
Yeah. Now, you had also asked about, and the $1,200 a month thing, like, oh my goodness. You said that, he thinks that maybe that's what you could make a month, but then beyond that might be pretty hard. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, or that it's just going to get to a point and then it's not going to get any bigger, it'll just, that'll be my success. That'll be the top.
Okay. Now, do you know where he gets this thought from?
I think that's just his skepticalness of network marketing and that you aren't supposed to really be paid for things that you're sharing, I guess.
Okay, so the effort's being leveraged with other people? Is that what he means, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I would love to, and I will share it actually. I don't even know if Brienne has this, but I realized just this week, and actually today I think I started sharing it with people who are asking about it, but I would really encourage you to start a chart of your weekly earnings. And the reason I say that, and I've got a chart for you, I'll send it to you. It's an Excel file, and it seems very complicated and complex, so you can maybe even make it smaller if you want. My first year, I just did basically a chart with the date, the number of cycles I had each week, and what I got paid that week. It was very basic and simple, but it was a way for me to track my success. And I'm so glad I did that because when I look back to 2010, I can see that I made just over $7,000 that first year, and my second year, I made $47,000. My third year was over $100,000, and this past year was my fourth year, was about $130,000. And that for people to see at the beginning, and I would be more than happy to share you my numbers. And of course, I'm not making any claims that that'll be what you do. It does take effort and it does take consistency, but that's how much things can change. It really can change fast. The first year or so is usually the hardest time. That's why I said it took me 18 months to really start seeing any sort of significant income coming in. So you can let him know that he might be skeptical, but that's okay, honey, I'll show you. I'll show you. Just be patient with me. Enjoy the ride. I used to say that to my husband. Don't worry, honey, I'll show you. I have such belief and such clarity of where I'm going because I've linked arms with people who have been there and done that, and they're helping me. So that's something.
Telling him that I'm going to buy a four-wheeler for him.
Awesome. You know what? Keep that in the forefront of your mind and keep reminding him of that. And then, I remember even saying to Cam, I was like, what would you feel like if I started making more money than you? And he goes, bring it on. You can be my sugar mama. And, it's funny. Some men have a hard time with that. So that's something that, we don't want to be in their face about it, obviously. We want to be loving about it. But some men have a hard time thinking that their wife would make more money than them. That can be a hard thing, too. So just be mindful of that as well. But you know what? I think once you start showing him that it is possible, he'll be saying thank you for never giving up and showing me that I was wrong. So now you also asked the question about how do I manage to fit it all in with kids? And obviously we're at different stages right now, but I feel like I can relate to where you're at because my kids were so young when I started. And I had my third baby during my Isagenix build as well. So I know what you're going through and I know how hard it is. If I can just suggest something, it may help. Now, are you working full-time right now too?
No.
No. Are you going back to work full-time soon?
No, we've decided not to because it's not worth it for me to get paid from my job basically and then pay for everything else and daycare for the two of them.
Okay.
I wouldn't be making anything, so.
And that's, you know what, that's pretty much what my husband and I decided when Jack was 6 months as well. So when Isagenix came into our life, we were very grateful because at that year mark, we probably were going to I was going to be forced into getting back to work full time. It just was the way it was, but we knew I was barely going to make enough to pay for daycare. So it was a really challenging time. So I know how you feel right now having to make that decision. But for me, I have to say now, do your kids, do they nap?
Typically, yes. I can usually get a good nap out of them once a day. We used to do 2, but in the last few weeks, they've decided they don't want the afternoon nap. So morning, yes, I usually get about an hour and a half.
Okay, that's great. So if I could tell you that even that 1 hour and a half can be as much as you really need right now to build. Now, if you want to build faster, then you might want more time, like even when they go to bed at night, use that hour or 2 after they go to bed to use it as your business time as well. But really where it comes down to productivity time, and I've certainly learned along the way, it's never been, perfect, and I don't say that it ever will be, but I look at things in kind of 15-minute chunks, because I know that even if my kids are awake, and now they're a bit older, so they have activities they do, they, will do puzzles or read books or even watch some TV sometimes if I've got a call. And they know, because now they're old enough to understand, that we talk about our dreams with them. They've helped us build our vision board. So the older the kids are, the easier it gets, because they understand that you're doing this business for them just as much as you're doing it for other people, right? But right now your little ones are too young to know that. So you're going to just use the time you absolutely have when they go for their nap. That's when, my laundry became the last thing I did. As much as my husband loves a clean, tidy house, I did that when they were awake. I did all my house stuff when they were awake, as much as it was like a tornado, because you know what it's like sometimes you're folding laundry and the babies are taking the laundry out, right? Yep. So that can be really challenging and very stressful. I started making it kind of a game where I'd say, you pick up the one that needs to be folded, I'll fold it and put it in the basket, and then we don't touch it, right? So we went through stages like that with all of my kids. And now my youngest one still helps me with laundry. So she starts to know whose clothes are whose, and she puts them in the right basket for me, kind of thing. So that's stuff that helped me a lot. I just used that time as my quality phone time. As far as learning, because obviously part of our business really relies on learning, because we're earning as we're learning, right? So whether it's podcasts or webinars or anything that comes up that you say, oh, I really want to hear that, that's something I need to learn, put that on when you're doing the dishes. And whether your kids are up or not, sometimes obviously the power of being able to pause is a good thing, because if your child starts screaming and you need to change direction and stop doing dishes, then you can go and attend to your child. But you've got the podcast going on in the background and you can pause it. That was something else I did. Or on my drives into town, or if I was going somewhere, I'd be listening in my earbuds. And well, we're fortunate enough that we've got a van that has a movie thing in there, so the kids would watch a movie and I'd be listening to my podcast on the way. So there's just different creative ways to try to make it work, but think of it as 15-minute times. If you only have 15 minutes today, that's awesome. There have been days where I only have 15 minutes, so I connect with one person. How is your cleanse going? Or, how are things going with your new cleanser if they're a business partner? Is there anything I can do to support you? Maybe it's just getting back to people on an email, like just going through a few emails in 15 minutes, getting on Facebook and doing a post. Try to connect with your back office every single day if you can, and that doesn't take a lot of time. But just go to your team view, go to your usually the team view, just to see, is there anyone that I should speak with? It just gives you a reminder of people that are possibly having auto ship coming up soon. Maybe it's your new members and you want to remind them about their auto ship because it's their first auto ship. That kind of stuff was what I was doing to make sure I wasn't getting returns, because a lot of times the returns that happen are for people that forgot that auto ship was coming. So little things like this don't take a lot of time if you just focus and say, okay, what are the things that I could do in 15 minutes, and just sit down and do it. And be happy for what you did accomplish that day. Don't beat yourself up that you didn't have the hour and a half or the 2 hours that you wish that you had, because that sometimes can derail us just as much. Just say, oh, I didn't do enough, and then you feel like you're failing, right? Does that help?
Yeah, that does. Yep.
All right.
Very much.
Do you have any other questions at all before we say goodbye?
I don't think I do at the moment. No, I appreciate the phone call. That was great.
Awesome, and thank you for allowing us to record it. And I also want to just extend the invitation, if you ever have someone on your team that's looking for some support or some guidance and you don't know the answer, it's always great to offer a call with somebody. These are really simple to do, and obviously you've just been part of one tonight, and you can see how easy it is. You're not, you know, Brianne doesn't have to be the expert right now. She's turning it over to me to explain some things, and she's learning as she goes as well. So it's a really great way for you to continue to learn and put people in touch with others on the team.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Awesome. That's great.
So it's great. Thank you so much, Tara and Melanie.
You're welcome. And you know what? Anytime I can help, just let me know by phone, by email, by Facebook message, whatever. And collectively, we're really changing lives. So I'm so proud of you for what you've done already in a short time, Melanie. So I hope that you're like everyone else that believes that the only way that you can fail in this is to quit. And I don't think you're a quitter. So
no.
That's awesome.
No, I will not quit.
That's awesome. If you just think of your children and your husband, and you say to yourself on those days that you feel like you just want to kick the wall, because you're going to have those days. We all do. I still do, right? But if you say to yourself, who is counting on me to succeed? Who am I letting down if I quit? And don't even think about your Isogenics team. You're not letting us down. You're letting down your family and the people that you love the most. So if you have those wall-kicking moments that you just feel like, oh my gosh, I need someone who understands, because a lot of times your family and your friends don't necessarily understand, please connect with us. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you through those challenging times just as much as the successful times.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you have a great night, and we'll talk soon.
You too.
All right. Bye. Bye, ladies.
Bye.